Dragonflight. We may as well know when it's coming out. Not really, but we know when it's not coming out, and when you kind of eliminate all the other options. So, a product page has appeared for, Untitled Dragonflight prequel by Ballantine?
Ballantine is the publishing house. So it's technically Del Rey, but Del Rey own, like, I think Ballantine's like a sub-label of Del Rey. Because I saw that and I was like, Ballantine? Is there an author named Ballantine? There are a lot of authors named Ballantine. None of them have anything to do with Warcraft. And then I found, I was like, oh, okay, it's just, we don't know the author of it yet. I can't imagine it would be Golden, because just came off finishing Sylvanas. I can't imagine she'd be like, yeah, let's go do some dragon stuff. And unfortunately, they're definitely not going to bring Richard Knack back. That's what I want back for dragon stuff, but I don't think that's going to happen, unfortunately.
Probably not. So, yeah, it's coming out November 22nd of this year. Well, that's when they say it's coming out, though I doubt it's going to have a Sylvanas-like situation with constant pushbacks.
Well, I guess that's the thing. We can like analyze this all we want, but it's that point of if the expansion needs delayed past Q1, which I hope not, they'll delay this past November, probably in the same kind of vein. But it's a prequel, so we need to have this book before we get Dragonflight. And I guess just because I see a couple people like, oh, another book, and you're like, I really can't imagine they'll follow the same problems they usually do, which is, hey, here's all the lore you need to know in a book. Even Sylvanas, they kind of did a little bit of that. Her real character motivation was there. But when it comes to...
That was a patch job.
Yeah, it was a patch job, But even Ian saying, if you need the story in the book or something, that's a significant narrative disruption, is the word he used, which they've definitely done. So I assume this is going to fill the gap and give some character, but not give away any real details.
Yeah, they can't do another Before the Storm, right? Like the whole Arathai stuff, Kalia.
Yeah.
That's just stuff that game people have no idea about. It's wild.
Yeah, and I imagine that
Shadows Rising didn't have as much, in fairness.
Yeah, but it's weird, right? Because those books set up a lot of stuff that didn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
In a way.
Probably they had different plans.
Yeah, and I think that's hopefully they kind of avoid that problem again. Because obviously the entire thing of Anduin's role as Pseudo-Arthas in Shadowlands was like, there's a precursor from Shadows Rising of him like using the void magic and kind of being like, oh, that's my anger coming out. Oh, that's the bad side of whatever else. And that was never really...
Kind of went nowhere.
Yeah, it went nowhere, and it probably never will. At least not until Tyrallian's involved and stuff, but yeah. Yeah, indeed.
Yeah, so look, as for what this could say about the release of 10.0 then, so not Q4 this year. If we take a look at some other dates, Shadows Rising's book came out the 14th of July 2020. The expansion came out, well, it was planned to come out the 27th of October, of course, came out the 23rd. So, 105 days, 132 days. That number is actually 63 days for BFA.
A lot sharper, yeah.
Yeah, for Legion, 4 months, around 140 days. For War Crimes, 191 days, but of course, it took a while for the Warlords of Draenor development. Jaina, Tides of War, 1 month and 1 day.
Yeah, I think it was like the...
Pretty close.
It was like the least prequelish of them all, though.
Yeah.
I feel like. Suppose it's sort of the same with the Shattering. Well,
yeah, a bit. Well, Shattering was 1 month and 18 days.
Yeah.
Rise of the Lich King was, a different situation.
Yeah, it was 206 days, but it came after the expansion instead of before.
Yeah.
Which is, they probably would have wanted that before if they had this plan going, because it was great for characterization for Arthas, but it was out 7 months before Fall of the Lich King, so it's kind of okay on that front. But yeah.
Yeah, so if you go for all expansions since Cataclysm, it's an average of 97 days.
Yep.
If you go for only the planned release dates, it's 103.
Yeah, I think that's
only actuals 112. And yeah, because there's no curveball being thrown at the development, we're thinking maybe 103 days.
Yeah.
So, March 14th, 2023. February 27th, 2023.
Yep. Or most likely
March
being...
7th.
Yeah, March 7th is... this is kind of weird because it could be, a week delay anywhere in this chain, of course. But it's like, if we go by the hard numbers, March 7th is kind of their aim. And that makes sense when you think of, basically what they did with Shadowlands going from Q4 to Q1 of the literal year. And that was they managed to get all of the big MAU numbers, the big win numbers in early December. And then those carried over to the raid release. So it's a bit cynical to look at it from this angle, but this could absolutely be the case there. of just, here you go, here's we've got so much Q1 and Q2 engagement and MAUs and stuff from this. Probably not a part of the decision making, but definitely someone's playing this and going, that would be nice. That would be nice.
Yeah, someone is happy about that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So there you go. We all kind of expected Q1. Yeah. This is maybe some fun numbers that helps reinforce that. I don't think anyway, that stuff's not going to be a surprise to anybody. But hey, we have some numbers. I guess I'm just interested in what this book's going to cover. Because it could just cover the state of affairs on Azeroth with all the characters they set up. But 9.2.5 is already trying to do some of that. So maybe it is going to be some little dragon quest that ends up leading to the expansion. But then if they do that in the book, it would be, as Ian would put it, a significant narrative disruption, which we don't want.
Yeah, that's why I'm thinking, well, here's the interesting part, right? Because in terms of what they have available to them narrative-wise, they have so much.
Yeah.
They could go forever because, like, I think Steve basically said this in an interview, but, like, all of the timeline of World of Warcraft is kind of solved by Chronicle, except for this period of time between, like, the War of the Ancients and then now. So there's all that time where the dragons were the keepers. And that's the stuff that they could fill in with like loads of like adventures and stuff like that. So it's like obviously anything before that was all like, here's the pre-times. Nothing really happened. And then everything after that was, the First War onwards. So it's that one big time. They're like, we've got like 10,000 years of freedom to write our own stories that are based on Azeroth. Because obviously there's been problems with them going after the timeline. In terms of like, every time they backfill, they retcon.
Yeah.
So now they can backfill without retconning. And that's going to, make people feel a lot happier. When I was like, oh yeah, that's what the dragons were up to during that time. Okay, interesting. Because, I mean, everyone memes about the Age of Dragons. Like,
what was that?
What'd you do? Nothing. Also, you're all the problem with Deathwing, so what the fuck? But yeah.
That's that whole thing where apparently the fucking purpose, duty of the dragons was to stop one of their own when he turned bad. But that only happened because they got uplifted.
Yeah.
Which doesn't really make a whole... Yeah. Like, look back at the time in Cataclysm. Having criticisms of the WoW narrative is not a new thing.
Not at all, no.
And towards the end of Cataclysm, that is certainly something a lot of people were saying.
Yeah, and just to touch on one thing about it, Netstalker saying why not speculate using the season durations? That's another valid thing. Whereas like season durations of like 6 to 7 months, and then Skarsgård talking about a shorter season 4, because that's the experimental one. That would lead us to believe this season's going to run to like July, August, maybe a bit September-ish. Then 9.2.5 bring us through to pre-patch before Christmas or something. And then pre-patch will carry us through for a while. Maybe
that would be too early. No, pre-patch is usually 2 weeks. And I think they've said that's the plan.
Oh yeah, 2 weeks, yeah. Yeah. Oh, apparently Decor said it's covered later on as well. So
there we go.
Guess we'll talk about that. Sweet.
So, that's the book.